right, welcome everybody. Happy Wednesday and happy Navaratri. We are in the spring version of the celebration to the goddess. 9 nights started last night. And so you can say the whole celebration is for Durga, right? One of the forms of the goddess, but it's often broken up so that it looks like, and this is very much a Durga thing, is that she is one being, but she appears as an infinite number of personalities, an infinite number of attributes, an infinite number of realities, right? But she is all one. And this is the lesson of the goddess, is that everything is really the one energy moving in many different ways. So it's often described, as we say, the first 3 nights of Navaratri are dedicated to Durga in her solid form or distinct form. And then the second 3 nights are dedicated to Lakshmi. The third 3 nights are dedicated to Saraswati. And it's this progression energetically where we are going from the way that we are connecting to the world on maybe a more immediate physical level to where we're connecting to the world in a little bit more of the abundance of our spirit or the abundance of the heart space, I tend to think of it, and then moving into that space that is very much our mind and our soul, right? Our connection to the infinite and how it works through the other 2 layers. But we are in second night, right? So Durga energy. And my thought for you, let the eyes close if you haven't already, is Durga, her image, if you see her, is she has arms, lots of arms. So sometimes it's 8 arms, sometimes it's 10, sometimes it's 20, it's however many arms, she just has arms. And in her, each hand, she's holding one of the weapons or one of the instruments of the gods, right? So everything that is divinely given is she's holding all of it. Not just one, but she's holding all of it. And so I've had this image in my mind the last week or so, thinking about her, contemplating her, is that imagine that, you get an Amazon box left on your doorstep one day. And you're like, I didn't order anything, right? Somebody sent you a gift. And you open up the box and there seems to be this random item inside. Maybe it's a trident, right? That you see like the mermaids hold. Maybe it's a seashell. Maybe it's a lotus blossom. Maybe it's a circular sword, right? And you're like, what am I supposed to do with this? This is the thing, is it's something that arrived for you without you asking. But the suggestion, because it arrived, is that you learn to use it. And this is one of the greatest teachings of the goddess, is that you were born with the attributes to deal with your life. And they show up like that box. I didn't ask for this, but because it's here, we're asked to learn to use it well. And the thing to remember is that it's not the item, right? You think about it, the tools of the gods, I gain power because I've been given this thing from the gods. No, the power is in your hands. It's not the thing. So when we reach for these pieces or these tools in yogic thought, where we say it's these images of balance and images of equanimity and images of purity and images of all of these things that these items represent, is it has nothing to do with the item. It has to do with it being in your hands. And so this is the teaching of the goddess, is that everything is in your hands. And that if your hands are using what's inside of you skillfully, is you will overcome everything. But as long as there's bits and pieces of ourselves that are sitting in the corner because we just don't know what to do with them, we don't know what they are, then we struggle. So you can imagine that random item shows up on your doorstep and it's Durga saying, learn to use this. Because by using it, your hands become the instruments of God, become the instruments of your soul. And it's in the use, not the item. It's in the practice, not the philosophy. So bring the hands together in front of the heart center, rub your palms. And take this away as the thought of the goddess, is that everything is in your hands. It comes from your heart, but it's in your hands to use it or not use it, weaponize it or use it as a tool for peace. Good, steady the hands at the heart center, palm to palm. Press the thumbs into the sternum so maybe you feel your heartbeat for a moment. And then we'll open sound of Om, deep breath in. Let the eyes float open. Nice, you guys. You can release your hands, bring your hands to your knees or your thighs. Cat-cow your spine, a seated cat-cow. Just to move yourself out of whatever has settled into your spine from the day. Good. Right, we get caught up in all the descriptions. You know, the deities can be very confusing because they have all of these qualities and attributes and things that they hold and things that they represent. And if we get caught up in all of that, we're going to miss the point, which is that none of it means anything unless you use it. Right? So you're a soul. You say it's the way that you are expressing the light of the divine is through this soul, through this mind, through this body. And whatever is inborn in that means nothing unless you use it. And you use it for the intention or the purpose of creating a world that is one you want to live in. This is Durga. Create the world, the environment that you want to live in. Good. Come back to stillness, please. Stretch the arms up alongside your ears. Interlace your fingers. Press the heels of the hands up to the sky. Press out. Good. Deep breath in. Good. And then as you exhale, bring your arms straight forward, pressing out from the center of your chest. Round your back. Drop the chin towards your chest. Good. And then inhale, stretch the arms all the way up to the sky. As you pull up, shrug your shoulders up to your ears. Good. And now pull your top of your head taller and drop your armpits down. Nice. And then as you exhale, bring the hands forward, rounded to the back again. Drop your chin towards your chest. Widen your shoulders away from your ears. Again, like you're pulling those armpits back and pushing the crown of your head forward. Good. And then inhale, come back up to straight again. One more time. Shrug your shoulders up to your ears, push up through the heels of the hands, and then lift through the top of your head like you've got something balanced there that you're pushing up, and then draw those armpits down. Good. And then exhale, round forward, press the hands out, drop your chin towards your chest. Good. And then pull your arms into the shoulder socket, draw your shoulders wide away from your ears. Nice. And then all the way back up to center, please. Good. Release the clasp of the hands. Keep the arms lifted. Take your arms out wide, letter T, and then reach to your right. Let the right hand touch down, left arm over the ear, side body stretch. Good. Look down towards your right fingertips, please. So instead of looking up, look down and draw your head back, looking down, throat back. Good. And then come all the way back up to center, both arms up to the sky. Nice. Take your arms out wide, letter T, lean to your left. Left hand touches down, right arm over the ear. And again, instead of looking up towards that lifted hand, look down towards your left hand. And then work at opening your right side chest, sliding your rib cage slightly back so your left shoulder softens. And then draw your throat back, but keep your gaze down towards those fingertips. Good. And then come all the way back up to center, arms to the sky. Nice. And then release the hands down to the floor. Beautiful. Come forward onto hands and knees. Good. Circle your hips, please, moving the pelvis. Good. Move your hips the other way. I have a lot of fun imagining because, you know, I know some of those items that show up in Durga's hands is, what would you do if somebody sent you a trident? What would you do with it? How would you imagine that someone intended you to use it? You probably hang it on a wall or stick it in a corner, right? Come back to center, please. Come back to neutral. Good. Tuck your toes, lift your hips, downward facing dog. Or someone sends you a seashell, and instead of actually using it as this opportunity to do deep listening, as you put it in a fish tank and forget about it. Right leg comes up and back, down dog split. Good. Step the right foot forward between the hands. So Kristen coming back, right foot forward between the hands. Nice. Drop your back knee, please. Anjaneyasana, inhale both arms up to the sky. Good. You can use a blanket underneath that back knee if you need. Beautiful. And then take your hands back behind your head, elbows wide. Squeeze those inner elbows in, push your head back into your hands, and then actually feel almost like you can grip the sides of your skull. Pull up. Good. Pull up through the occiput, that bone at the underside of your skull. Pull up and then lift your chest. Drop your head back just a little bit. Good. And then send your hips forward. Deep breath. That's it. And then release the arms, please. Hands to the floor. Nice. Lift your back knee up. Keep that heel lifted. You can use blocks underneath the hands here if you need. Straighten your right thigh. A long pyramid pose. Ha. Just teasing Kristen's daughter. Good. So definitely keep that back heel lifted. Squeeze the legs towards each other. Pull up through your pelvis. Pull up, pull up, pull up. Good. Don't press that back heel down to the floor. Get into the lift of your hips. That's it. Good. One more breath. And then bend that front knee again, please. Plant the left hand inside that front foot, right arm to the sky, spinal twist. Nice. Good. And then release that hand down to the floor, please. Drop your back heel. Baby toe parallels the back of your mat. Cartwheel the arms up to warrior two. Good. Shoulders over the hips, front knee over the front ankle. Nice. Turn your palms to face up towards the ceiling. Good. Squeeze those arms in towards the back of your heart and then lift again through the top of your head. Again, as though you're balancing something there and you have to keep pushing up. Good. Now turn your palms to face down, press out through your fingertips and feel your shoulders go wide away from your ears. So you're still hugging in at the armpits, but the tops of the shoulders press wide. Beautiful. And then turn your palms to face up. Good. And turn your palms to face down, stretch out. Turn your palms to face up, squeeze in. Turn your palms to face down, press out. Beautiful. Straighten your front thigh, please. Good. Reach for triangle. Extend through that right rib cage. Good. Go as far as you can. Pause. Gaze down neutral, either straight ahead or down towards that front leg. Good. And then go ahead and let that right hand touch down, front leg, floor, or block. Take the left arm up to the sky. Don't immediately look up at that left hand. Look down towards the floor first. Good. Feel that squeeze in of the arms. Again, the armpits pull in towards the center of your back, but then you push wide through the tops of your shoulders and press out straight through the crown of your head. Now turn your gaze center, so you're looking straight ahead, same direction as your chest. Good. Draw your throat back, dropping your chin in. Feel your sternum lift towards the top of your mat. Good. Now, if you want, turn your head up towards that left hand without letting the shoulders go with you and without feeling like you're pulling your neck away from the rest of your spine. Good. Bend the right knee again, please. Release both hands down to the floor. Beautiful. Spin your back heel up. Step that left foot forward just a little bit. Take both legs to straight. Parsvottanasana, sometimes called pyramid pose. Left hip spins forward. Right top thigh and hip goes back. Good. And we call it pyramid pose because I think the Sanskrit Parsvottanasana, what it translates to actually is intense stretch. So in our minds, pyramid pose is a little easier to wrap your mind around instead of like, oh, just get intense. But Durga is this energy that says that you have to engage with your fierceness. If you don't engage in intensity, she says you're never going to fully live. You will always back down when you're challenged. And Durga is the one in her stories is that she never backs down. She never has to. She's that space that is so peaceful and so clear that there is nothing that can rile her, nothing that can defeat her. And she says that lives in you, but you have to use it. Go ahead, start to walk your hands, please, towards that inside, left hand to the inside of the front foot. You can use a block if you'd like. And then right hand comes to your right hip. Good. Pull back on that thigh crease. So it's like a modified version of twisting triangle. So you're not going to the full twist, but pull that thigh back, top of that thigh back. Good. And start to turn your belly just a little bit to the right, stacking your right shoulder on top of your left. Again, don't go from your head. Keep your gaze looking straight forward or down. Work from your shoulder. Work from your rib cage. Feel the hips rotating, but don't go into the head. Head can lift straight up, but don't turn the gaze. Good. And then release that hand back down to the floor, please. Nice job. Bend the right knee. Good. Drop the back knee or spin your back heel up. Drop that back knee back to the floor. Anjaneyasana again. Both hands inside the front foot. Very good, you guys that went straight for the arms lifted. But bring the hands to the inside. I know I said Anjaneyasana and you were like, arms go up. Good job. But bring your hands down inside the front foot. Do some circles with that hip. Good. Even an interesting exercise in the practical sense, Navaratri, as it's often said, is that as a way to make space for there to be the teachings of the goddess, or space within yourself for this energy of Shakti to move, is to start to clean up, right? Especially when we get into Lakshmi energy, the suggestion is clean your house, deep clean, like the kind of thing where you get the Q-tips out and start like cleaning the grout and, you know, that type of thing, like clean the top of your door frames and behind the refrigerator where no one ever is going to see it. But to start to look at where you have things that you never use. And then start to wonder, why am I keeping this? And if I'm keeping it and it has a purpose, fantastic, but why don't I use it? Come back to stillness, please. Good. Walk your hands to the upper left-hand corner of your mat. Good. Stay up on fingertips. Just draw the hips back and lift your chest up. So again, you have this sensation of drawing the arms into the shoulder socket and let your chest get super wide. Sternum lifts. Keep your gaze down. I know, don't give in to that desire to crane the chin forward. Keep it down. Lift through the back of your throat and pull those shoulders down towards your hips. And sternum lifts forward. Good. Walk the hands all the way back in. Nice job. Come back to downward facing dog. Durga is the one that you call on, it said, when you need to battle demons. No other form is as successful. Slide forward to plank pose, upward push up. Good. Bend your elbows just a little bit. If you need to drop the knees, you can, but bend your elbows a little bit and feel yourself again. Pull those armpits towards your hips and push the top of your head forward. Good. Now straighten the arms again. Lift your sternum forward and up and lift the back of your throat, but keep your gaze straight down to the floor. Yeah, I know. Really just working the angle of the neck with the shoulders. Good. Now don't change anything. Lift your hips and come back to downward facing dog. Good. Same orientation. Those armpits pull up towards your hips, shoulders wide away from the ears, throat long, and push through the crown of your head. Good. Left leg comes up and back, down dog split. Nice. Step that foot forward between the hands, lunge. Drop that right knee, use a blanket underneath if you'd like. Anjaneyasana, arms go up to the sky. Good. Take your arms out wide, cactus arms. Imagine the hands behind your head. So those inner elbows slide slightly forward, just like you did when your hands were behind your head. And then again, draw those shoulders wide away from your ears. Draw your throat back. Gaze is neutral. Begin to lift your chest. Keep your shoulders in this orientation. So as you lean back, your elbows have to spin forward. Your palms fall back. Your heart opens wide. Good. Keep your hips moving forward. Drop your chin slightly towards your chest. So just watch Anastasia. You don't go too far back. Good. And then from your navel, come all the way up, not from your neck. From your navel, come all the way up. Stretch the arms straight to the sky. Let your pelvis move forward. One more breath. Nice, Lisa. And then release those hands down to the floor. Good. Lift the back knee, please. Blocks underneath the hands here if you'd like. Keep that back heel lifted straight in your left thigh. So that wide or that long version of Parsvottanasana. Good. Spinning the right hip forward. Pulling the hips up and back. So you're really kind of decompressing the pelvis, decompressing the leg in the hip socket. Good. Nice, you guys. Bend the left knee again, please. Good. Over the ankle, right hand plants, left arm to the sky, spinal twist. Watch that you don't do the twist with your head. So look down maybe towards that right hand. Move your left rib cage higher. Reach through that left hand higher. Draw your throat back and then look maybe neutral. Possibly look up at that left hand. But only move if the neck has the space to do so. Good. Release that hand down to the floor, please. Good. Drop your back heel, baby toe parallels back of your mat. Come into warrior two. So shoulders come over the hips. Arms are wide. Good. Letting the front knee come over the ankle. And then turn your palms to face up, please. Bend your elbows. Take the tips of your fingers to the tops of your shoulders. Circle the elbows. Good. Neck stuff almost always has to do with shoulder stuff. Move your elbows the other way. So if we don't do the shoulder stuff, we can stretch our neck all we want and it's not going to do much. Good. And then come to stillness, please. Take your arms out wide. Find that feeling again where you are drawing the arms into the shoulder sockets, so that squeeze behind the heart, but then also the pressing out through the tops of the shoulders through your fingertips. Good. And then straighten the front thigh, please. Preparation for triangle pose. Extend through the left rib cage, keeping the legs straight. Reach forward. Good. Head neutral, so looking straight ahead. Good. Pause. Yeah. And then let that left hand touch down. Right arm comes to the sky. And again, paying attention to where you immediately take your gaze. So you look down towards that left hand first. So you release instead of going straight for the twist. And now start to stack your right rib cage on top of the left. So you're moving from your waist back. You're moving from your hips back. Good. Then you can look straight forward if you'd like. Chin neutral with your chest, press back through the back of your head, long throat, push through the crown of your head. Feel those arms squeeze in towards the center of the back. Good. And then again, lift your sternum open a little more. Now you can take your gaze up towards that right hand if you choose, or keep it where it is. But keep dropping that chin slightly towards your chest. Good. And attention, right? The joke is we can say your inner drishti going up towards the third eye, or going up towards spiritually where you're experiencing your life, not down into where you're mentally or physically experiencing your life. Good. Bend the left knee, please. Release the hands down to the floor. Good. Spin that back heel up. Step your right foot forward just a little bit. Take both legs to straight, Parsvottanasana. Again, blocks underneath the hands. Great idea. I say jokingly that, again, the inner drishti, if it's always focused upward towards that higher perspective of things, not better, but higher, more complete, then it doesn't matter where we turn our gaze. It's actually teachings of Krishna, is that if you are really connected to that inner source of energy, the inner source of what we call our soul or our spirit, or just a feeling of really knowing who we are, is that you can't ever escape that. Nothing can ever take it from you. Teachings of Krishna, where the gopis, milkmaids, are so enamored, so completely in love and attached to Krishna, to God, that even when he disappears, is they see him everywhere. They start calling everything Krishna. And Goddess is very much the same. She says, if you can see that energy in literally everything that comes your way, and you are never separated from your source. You're never defeatable, because what could possibly defeat you? You're everything. It's all in your hands. Start to move your hands now towards that front foot. So the right hand comes right inside your left foot. You can use a block there if you'd like. Left hand comes to your outer left hip. So not the full twist, just bring the hand to your hip or to your lower back. And then pull back on that thigh. Keep looking down at the floor. Yep. So no twisting from your neck. Twisting from your ribs. So start to turn your belly open to the left. Keep your gaze neutral with your chest. Good. Pull those thighs back. So Anju, straight legs, both legs straight. Good. And twist only to the capacity that your shoulders, again, are willing to go. And if you have a nice stack of that left shoulder on top of the right, sure, turn your gaze. If you don't, just lift up through the back of your throat, draw those shoulders away from your ears, and let that be the pose. Good. Pull back on the top of that thigh. Nice. And then release, both hands find the floor. Good job. Step that, bend your front knee, please. Step your right leg back just a little further. Drop that knee back to the floor. So your Anjaneyasana legs, hands inside the front foot. So left foot forward, back knee on the floor. Walk your, don't walk your hands out. Just do hip circles. Getting ahead of myself. Circle the hip. Durga is also the one you call if you have ghosts that you need to get rid of. She's the ghost buster. You know, in the world of energy, it's often said that those types of energies, ghosts or accumulated spiritual thought, presence, tends to show up in those places that we never look at, the items that we never touch, the doors we never open. Good. Come back to stillness, please. Walk your hands to the upper right-hand corner of your mat. Stay on your fingertips. And again, you're dragging back on the hands. So you have that lift through your sternum. Arms plug into the shoulder socket. Back of the throat lifts up and widen the shoulders away from the ears. So the same thing is true in our minds, the parts of your mind or your emotional self that never get questioned, never get touched. That's where our shadows hang out. The things that disturb us, even though we don't know that it's disturbing us, or that we haven't labeled it as the source of that. Another reason to clean, internally clean, externally clean, so that everything that you have is something usable. Walk yourself back in. Good. Lift that back knee, please. Step back, downward facing dog. And I'm not even going to pretend that I'm good at this, right? I have tons of things that I don't need. Internally and externally, I have tons of things I do not need. And every Navaratri, I have this great plan that I'm going to clean things out, and I usually get rid of like one thing. So I understand. Lift the back of your throat. Good. Come up on the tippy toes of your feet. Pull your hips nice and high. Good. Pull your arms into your shoulder socket like you're taking the weight out of your hands. Good. And then soften the heels towards the floor, please. Roll forward to plank pose, upward push-up. Press through the top of your head. Nice. Lower down all the way to your belly. Good. Point the toes back behind you. Rise up, cobra. Lift head, neck, and chest. Good. And then drop your chin. Yep. And then lift again from the back of your throat like a mama cat scruffing the back of your neck. Draw those shoulders wide away from your ears. Push through the top of your head. So make your neck as long as you can go. Giraffe neck. Good. And then slowly release all the way back to your belly. Nice job, you guys. Stretch your arms straight out in front of you. Good. Palms facing down. As you lift your right leg, you're going to lift your left arm. So cross body, right leg and left arm lift at the same time. Inhale. Good. And then release that. And then do the other side. Left leg, right arm lift up. Good. And then release. And you're just alternating with each breath. Inhaling, lifting and lengthening both directions, and then release. And then lifting the other side and release. Try and coordinate. So you're not just lifting a leg and then an arm, but you're lifting both at the same time. And like you're reaching across your body. So you're actually extending through the whole cross of your shoulder to your hip when you lift the limbs. Good. And Durga rides a lion or a tiger. So equally strange to imagine if someone just sends you a bizarre package and you don't know what to do with the thing. Imagine someone sends you a bizarre animal and says, learn to ride this. Right? What would your animal be? A hippo shows up on your doorstep. Learn to ride it. Good. Caterpillar shows up on your doorstep. Learn to ride it. Don't say that's impossible. Ganesha rides a mouse. Elephant rides a mouse. It can be done. Good. Lift everything, please. Legs up, arms up. Yeah. And now stay lifted, but stretch your arms straight out wide, letter T. So your chest is still lifted, but your arms go straight out from the shoulders. And now lift the back of your throat more. Yeah. And now stay just as lifted, but start to reach your arms at an angle back towards your feet. So not squeezing the arms alongside, but come into that locust position where your arms are angled towards your feet. Good. Back of your throat lifts up. Back of the heart lifts up. Nice, Kristen. And then slowly release. Nice, Mark. Good. Make a pillow with your hands, elbows wide. Drop your forehead onto your hands. Yeah, move the hips if you need. Breathe deeply into the back of the chest. Good. Bye, Anju. If you have inherent in your life everything that you're ever going to need, and the only thing there is to do is to learn to use it. Does that change your thought about the things that you've accumulated, things that you have? Do I even know how to use this? Nice. Stretch your arms out in front of you, please. Separate your feet as wide as your mat. Good. Arms straight out in front of you. Cross your right arm over top of your left in front of you. Good. And then you're rolling over onto your right side for a twist. So you're leaning onto your right hip, please. Sorry, no, I think I'm doing this wrong. So your right arm is over your left. Is that what I said? Yeah. So you're leaning onto your left hip. Sorry. So turn onto your left side, please. Keep your feet nice and wide. And as you twist, take that right arm back behind you. So your feet should still be touching both sides of your mat, but the right hip is stacked on the left. Right arm comes back behind you. Good. So keep the feet separated, Joanne. There you go. Yep. The wider you keep the feet separated, you get a little bit of a different stretch through that top thigh. Nice, you guys. Watch the angle of the head. Good. Take one more breath, breathing through the whole side body into the shoulder. And then slowly unwind, coming back to your belly. Keep your feet nice and wide back behind you. Come up onto your forearms for a version of Sphinx pose. So on your belly, feet nice and wide, come up on your forearms. Good. Press down, drag back, chest up. And then even though your feet are wide, press down through the tops of your feet. Good. Nice. And then in this position, optional, right, is to actually move your elbows slightly forward, turn those palms or turn those arms out just a little bit, angle them outward towards the corners of your mat, and maybe press into your hands and start to straighten the arms. Yep. So lifting the elbows off of the floor. Yeah. So just it's a deeper stretch into the back, which is why we have the feet wide. Good. And then lower the elbows back to the floor, please. Move your feet a little closer together so they're just as wide as your hips. Drop your chest back to the floor. Reach your arms back, arms straight into locust position, palms facing down. Good. Lift the legs up off the floor. Lift the upper body up off the floor. Gaze down at the floor. Lift the hands. So again, don't give into that urge to look forward with your chin. Drop the chin and lift through the back of your throat. And feel your shoulders go wide away from your ears. Nice. And then release back to your belly, please. Good. Stretch the arms out in front of you, both arms out. And then the left arm crosses over top of the right. Should be the second side in front of you. Separate your feet again. And then you're rolling onto your right hip this time. As you roll to the right, you're taking the left arm back behind you. Any amount for the twist. The arm might stay more up alongside your ear. That's totally fine. But if you can reach it back towards the floor, it's a nice stretch for the chest, nice stretch for the arm. If it feels like it's too much of a stretch on the arm and it's not anywhere close to the floor, keep it up alongside your ear. Good. Or use whatever random furniture you have around. It's perfect. Good. The truth is that your whole life is in your hands. This is what Durga reminds us. Your whole life is in your hands. And it's not that you are ever separated from source, anything that you think you're not big enough to do. You always will have what is necessary for you to do what is necessary for you to do. And maybe you can't do everything. But you can use the tools that you have. The tools that you have will do more than you think. And that's the reason why, again, Durga is a goddess. She can be anything and everything all at once. We're an embodied form, so anything that is too big for you to do alone, that's why you have other people. Slowly come back to center, please. Back to your belly. Again, keeping the feet nice and wide. Come up onto your forearms. Good, pointing the toes back behind you. So again, a slightly wider legged Sphinx pose. Good. And then again, optional, if this feels like enough, stay where you are. But if you'd like, you can walk your elbows slightly forward, angle your hands out towards the corners, upper corners of your mat, and then pressing into the hands, navel to spine, you can start to straighten the elbows, lift the elbows up off the floor. Chest pulls forward and up, squeeze those arms in. Good. Keep your gaze neutral. So drop that chin so that your sternum is lifting, your armpits are pulling back, and your neck is getting super long. Giraffe neck. Someone leaves a giraffe on your lawn, learn to ride it. Good. And then slowly release all the way back to your belly, please. Nice. Stretch the arms, reaching back towards your feet. Move the feet a little closer to each other. One more locust pose with palms facing down. Float your legs up off the floor. Lift your upper chest, head, neck, and chest. Good. Everything is in your hands. And what you choose to do with your hands or what you choose not to do with your hands has everything to do with what's in your heart to do, what's in your mind to do. So we're asked to clean. Clean what's in your mind. Clean what your association is in your heart so that what you do is coming from a place that is clear. You know what you're trying to do. You know what is in your hands. Good. And then release back to your belly, please. Nice job. Press up to hands and knees. Come back, child's pose. Good. Beautiful, you guys. Attention maybe again up to the third eye, since you're in a place where your third eye may be touching the floor or a block. And we're asked to elevate ourselves during Navaratri, is to take whatever is your normal daily experience, the mundane way that you have learned to go about life, and to elevate it, accelerate it. It might not look any different, but when your energy is reaching from a higher place, acting from a higher place, is everything takes on greater meaning. So the most boring thing that you have to do it with complete devotion. Do it with complete attention, and suddenly it means something other than what it used to. Good. Walk yourself all the way back up. Come to sit on your butt. Take your legs out in front of you. Good. Bend your right knee in towards your chest. Left leg stays extended. And then step that right foot over your left thigh. Good. And then bend your left knee as well and take that heel towards your right butt cheek. So you're bending both knees, but you should still be sitting on both sit bones. Good. Take the left arm around the front of that right knee, or you can hook the elbow if you want. Right hand comes back behind you, twist. Good. So Mark, you have the other leg on top. So take the other leg on top. There you go. You got it. Yep. Yep. Left hand to the outside of that knee, right hand behind you. Perfect. Chest lifted. And again, look over your left shoulder now. So instead of looking into the twist, look away from the twist. And don't let your chin fall towards your shoulder as you do that. Keep it lifted, but look away. You got it. And then take your gaze back to neutral and then look over the right shoulder again, without trying to make the twist deeper by your gaze, but just angling the head the same way the shoulders are. Good. Come back to center, please. Take both hands to the outside of your left hip. So the counter twist, as we say, keep the legs as they are, just both hands to the outside of the left hip. Move your ribs to the left. Keep your right butt cheek on the floor. Good. Yep, just both hands to the floor, Mark. You got it. Don't change the legs. So it's a different stretch for the hip as you walk to the left. Good. And then come all the way back to center, please. Unwind your legs. Bring the bottoms of your feet together, Baddha Konasana. Good. Inhale the arms up to the sky. Good. Bow forward, leaning from your pelvis, so extending from your lower back. Forward fold. Keep the feet awake. Don't overthink it. It's just a forward fold in Baddha Konasana. You're not staying for that long. Yep, don't overthink it. And then walk yourself all the way back up. Good. Stretch your legs all the way out in front of you. Good. Pull your left knee in towards your chest. Right leg stays extended. Cross that left foot over your right thigh. And then bend the right knee as well, curling that heel towards the left sit bone if you can. So half Lord of the Fishes, Matsyendrasana. Good. You got it. Both knees bent. And then you're reaching your right arm around the front of that left knee, either hooking the elbow or using the arm to squeeze the knee in. Left hand comes back behind you. Good. And again, as you find the twist, the immediate instinct is to turn your head to try and feel like you're twisting deeper. So instead, belly up to your thigh, move your left armpit wider to the left, and spin that right back rib cage forward. And now look over your right shoulder. So look away from the twist. Yeah, so you should be looking more forward towards the front of the mat. Good. Try not to angle the chin down. Keep it level with the floor, but twisting away from the shoulder. Good. And then look back towards neutral again. Soften that right shoulder down and away from the ear. And then begin to look to the left again, but again, only going to the point that your chest has already rotated. Don't drop the chin towards the shoulder. Keep it level with the floor. Nice. Good. And then bring your chest or your torso back to center, please. Take both hands to the outside of the right hip. So you're just coming into the counter twist, so the legs don't change. Just reach the hands to the opposite side. Good. Trying to keep both sit bones on the floor. You got it. And again, try not to deepen the twist from your head. It's just your trunk. Good. And then come back to center, please. Unwind the legs, bring the bottoms of the feet together. Good. Again, without overthinking it, Baddha Konasana. Inhale the arms up to the sky, forward fold. Good. Yeah, trust your instinct. If you have heard a million cues given in Baddha Konasana, do the ones that are meaningful. If you can't think of any of them, remember to pay attention to your feet. Draw your shoulders away from your ears. Watch how you come into the pose and how you create tension. Then wiggle yourself out of the tension. It's a yoga practice in a nutshell. Good. Walk yourself all the way back up, please. Nice. Cross the ankles, roll forward onto hands and knees. Good. Coming onto your forearms. Interlace your fingers, make a little cup with your hands. One pinky comes inside so you have a flat edge. Elbows are underneath the shoulders. Good. Tuck the toes, lift the hips, come into forearm dog or dolphin pose, hips high to the sky. Good. Let your head hang. Yep. Weight of the head. And then start to walk your feet forward any amount, scooping through the low belly. Good. Pressing into your forearms. So this is important. Press into the forearms and feel that sensation of almost feeling your shoulders shrug up to your ears. And then push through the top of your head as though you almost intend to come into headstand, but you're not. And then pull those shoulders wide. So you're pressing into your forearms, but then you're widening through your upper back. Good. Walk your feet in a little bit more. Nice. If you are a headstander and you want to come into a quick headstand, go for it. Good. Otherwise, just take one leg to the sky. And as that leg lifts up, pull through that heel so that you lift more through your pelvis. Awesome. Release that foot down. Nice, Kristen. Take the other leg up. Again, pressing into your forearms and feeling the back of the heart get longer, get lighter, wide through your chest. Release that foot back down to the floor. Nice. Walk your feet back towards plank, forearm plank. Don't collapse. As you walk your feet back, your chest lifts up, gaze down at the floor, but press up through the back of your throat, forearm plank. Good. Armpits are over your wrists. You got to slide your chest forward more. Carolina, chest forward. There you go. And then release the knees to the floor. Nicely done, you guys. Press back, child's pose. I know that seemed like that was a mean thing to do, but your shoulders and your neck will actually thank you later. Good. And bring yourself back up to hands and knees, please. Stretch your right arm out wide to the right. Take that arm behind your left wrist. Right shoulder finds the floor. Good. Threading the needle, walk the left arm forward towards straight. Press into your shins. Good. Everything is in your hands. So we have 9 nights to delve deep into our untapped resources. in places that we've been ignoring. The joke of the goddess is she's like, you've been going through life with one hand tied behind your back. Why? Because we got used to it. So she shows up with many hands and says, there's a hand for everything. There's a tool for everything. But you have to use it. Don't tie your hands behind your back. Good. Keep that right arm where it is. Take your left arm to the sky. Good. That's assuming that the shoulder appreciates being in that position. If having the arm lifted does not serve, keep the hand down. Turn that palm to face back. Bend the elbow. Reach around. Find that little half bind. And again, not tying your hand behind your back, but actually rotating that left shoulder up and wide. So your elbow is going to fall forward towards your back, towards your belly. And then it's from the upper chest that you open. Good. And then stretch that arm all the way back up to the sky, please. Nice. Release that hand down. Unwind your twist. Come back to hands and knees. Good. And then move to the other side. Left arm goes out and wide. Slide behind your right wrist. Left shoulder finds the floor. Turn your gaze. Walk the right arm forward towards straight. Good. Press into your shins. Good. So Joanne, I would move your whole torso forward a little bit more so your hips can stay more on top of your knees. There you go. Good. Pressing through that left forearm, the left shoulder, take the right arm up to the sky. So again, you're pressing into the arm to support the shoulder and the neck. Don't just collapse your head on the floor. Turn that right palm to face back, bend the elbow, reach around for the lower back. Good, taking the half bind. And again, the trick here is to let your elbow start to fall forward towards your belly or towards your back. And then you're really working from your rib cage to open that right side chest more. Good. Nice, you guys. And then slowly release, extending that arm back up towards the sky. Good. Take it back down to the floor, back to hands and knees. Do a little cat and cow. Move the spine forward and back. Inhaling, lifting to lengthen, exhaling, bowing the head. Good. Move from your chest. So the head should be the very last thing that happens. On either direction, it should be the last thing that happens. You're moving from your spine. Good. And then come back to stillness, neutral spine, somewhere in the middle. Keep your hips in line with your knees. Walk your fingertips forward like you are in a modified down dog, and then keep walking your fingers forward. Good. Keep your hips in line with your knees. Good. Press into your fingertips. Maybe lifting the heels of the hands. So this is heart chakra opening, anahatasana. So the hands can be a little bit wider even than the shoulders if you'd like, so that you have this sensation again of allowing the chest from behind the heart to start to melt towards the floor, but you keep the arms engaged. So you're drawing the arms into the shoulder socket like you're pushing through the crown of your head, but start to let the belly soften towards the floor, let the chest drop towards the floor, hips in line with the knees. Good. Just keep the arms straight, Joanne. So you're just dropping the chest towards the floor any amount that it will go. Keeping the shoulders nice and steady, dropping the chest, dropping the belly. If you get low towards the floor, then you'll start to lift your chin because there's nowhere else for it to go. But the idea is that eventually we start to get longer and softer through the shoulders and the back, and the front of the chest will rest on the floor. Heart chakra, heart center, open on the floor. So if that's not happening today, don't worry about it. Let your spine just lengthen where it is. Good. One more full breath, feeling the back of the heart getting softer, even if you don't really know what that means. And then walk your hands all the way back in, please. Beautiful. Do just another breath or two of cat and cow. Move your spine. Nice. Good. And then slowly release, please. Press back briefly, take your hips back to your heels. Knees can be together or separated if for Virasana, so you're not coming back to child's pose, but drop your hips onto your heels or between your heels. Again, just for a brief moment or two, Virasana. So if you need a block underneath your seat, you can do that, or just keep your knees and your feet together, sit on your heels. Good. Nice. And then walk your hands back behind you, just fingertips to the floor, lean back. So not a big anything, just walk your hands back, lean. Press down into your shins, keep your butt anchored to your heels and a long spine. So maybe it feels good to drop the head back and then maybe really widen those shoulders. So you're pressing into your hands and you still have that connection of the arms squeezing into the back of the shoulders and the shoulders squeezing to lift the front of the chest. And then bring your chin more towards neutral. So drop your chin towards the chest again and then push through the top of your head. Lengthen. And draw those shoulders down and wide. Good. And then walk yourself all the way back up. Nice. Stretch your arms out wide, letter T. I guess you're here for longer than I expected you to be. Right arm over top of left, wrap the forearms, eagle arms. So if you need to change your seat or grab a prop, make sure that you do. Good. It's like the grocery store. You go in for one thing and you come back with 20. Sit in Virasana, you think, oh, just a breath or two, and you're here for 10 minutes or something. Good. Stretch your arms out wide, not that long. Good. Take the other arm on top. So internal cleaning. Finding all of the things in you that you have not learned yet skillfully to relate to. And all of the skills that you think you do have is wondering why you don't use them as often as you could. What excuse do you have for not using your brilliance, your greatness? And those are the excuses. We call those the demons, the things that stand in the way. And Durga says, let's transform them. Not kill them, but transform them. Stretch the arms out wide. Good. Bring your hips up off of your heels. Optional camel pose here. So if you're not into camel right now, you can actually drop the forehead to the floor and just come into like a mouse pose, forehead to the floor. But camel pose if you'd like. So you can tuck the toes under or keep the feet flat. Take your hands either to the back of your head or your lower spine. Good. Either one is great, but it's a reminder to engage the shoulders. So you're drawing the elbows in either position. You're squeezing the upper arms towards each other, and then you're lengthening. So get super, super tall as you pull up through your rib cage, the tops of your thighs soften back. Good. And then maintain this feeling of your abdomen, your abdominals really zipping up towards your spine. Hinge backwards, lean backwards. Good. And then start to tilt your sternum up towards the ceiling. Lift your chest, lift your chest, lift your chest, like there's a string pulling your sternum straight up to the sky. The tops of your thighs stay soft and your head is in line with your spine. And then drop your hands towards your heels if you want, or stay where you are. As soon as you hold those heels, resist the push down into your feet, but pull up through your armpits, pull up through your sternum. Head is neutral with your spine. There you go. Push through the top of your head. And then navel to spine, come all the way back up like a reverse back bend. There you go. Nice, you guys. And then drop the hips back to your heels, forehead to the floor. Good. You can reach for your ankles here if you'd like, or just have the arms reaching back towards you or alongside you. Roll up onto the crown of your head, lift your hips up off of your feet, round your back. Good. And then drop the hips back to your heels. Do the same thing a couple more times, rolling up onto the crown of the head, rounding the back. So you're not pushing a lot of weight onto your head. You're still lifting through your hips, but you're just getting that line of rounding through your back, and then release the hips back. And then maybe one more time, roll up to the crown of your head, rounding the back. Good. And then releasing the hips back to the floor. Nice. Slowly find your way all the way up from that forward fold, and then come onto your butt and find your way all the way onto your back. Hope this was enough shoulder and neck stuff for you. Good. On your back, please. Take your right ankle on top of your left thigh, bend both knees. Right ankle over left thigh, lift your left shin parallel to the floor, reach through to hold. the figure 4 or dead pigeon. Supine pigeon is what I should call it. Good. Flex both feet. Feel the low back rooting down. Feel the shoulders softening, right? As soon as you hold that leg, are you creating tension in your upper body? Good. And then release that thigh, please. Reach for your right shin. So your right hand's going to come to the knee, your left hand's going to come to your right foot, and extend the left leg straight down to the floor. So it's like you're doing a true pigeon on your back. So you're holding that right shin. Good. Extend your left leg straight down to the floor. Yep. So you're almost keeping the right leg exactly where it is. Just straighten the left leg down. Good. Nice. And then you can go ahead and rock that leg side to side. Nice. So all the way on your back mark and just straighten your left leg. There you go. Yeah, you can circle that knee or that thigh in the hip socket. You can move it around. And you can play, right? Foot is flexed. So you can push that foot into your left hand and then lift that shin a little higher towards your chest. So again, working this pigeon position, but on your back. Good. And then make sure you are in a point that feels pretty still. Pressing down through the lower spine. Deep breath in, and then as you exhale, lift your chest up towards your shin. So lift your shoulders up off the floor. Good. And as you lift up, again, navel is working, but draw your shoulders away from your ears. Try not to lift from your neck. Beautiful. And then slowly release the shoulders back to the floor. Please hug that right knee all the way in towards your chest. Nice. And then hold behind the thigh. Extend that heel up towards the ceiling. Straight hamstring stretch. Press down through your left thigh. Press out through your left heel. Good. Press your right thigh against your hands and relax your shoulders. Good. If you find in these supine positions that your neck has to crane back because your shoulders can't comfortably rest on the floor, make a habit of putting a blanket underneath your head so that you can have that neutral line on your neck. Don't create more tension for yourself. Good. Nice, you guys. And then keeping that hold behind the thigh, if you'd like, start to take that right leg over to the left for a straight leg twist. Yep. So stack the right hip on top of the left, take that left leg, cross the body all the way over. All the way over. You can keep holding behind the thigh or behind the calf. Good. So you're trying to keep that leg, that right leg, almost in line with your hip as you come into the twist. So it's a straight leg twist. Nice. Releasing through that right side, actually reach out through your right fingertips so that it's not just sitting on the floor, but you're reaching through your right side. Good. And watch your gaze. Again, if you look over the right shoulder, that's a little bit more intensity in the twist, but if it's straining the neck or the shoulders, not helpful, right? Good. Come all the way back up to center, please. Hug that right knee back in towards your chest. Bring it wide towards your armpit. Reach for the ankle or the foot. Half happy baby. Again, so I'm challenging you to figure out if you're going to go straight into the tension of shrugging your shoulder up to try and hold your foot, or if you're just going to admit that to relax your shoulder, you have to hold your ankle or your thigh. Good. Left thigh roots down to the floor. Nice. Good. Squeeze that right knee all the way in towards your chest. Hug. Beautiful. And then release that right foot to the floor, knee bent, stack your left ankle over your right thigh, lift your right shin parallel to the floor, figure 4 on the other side, or supine pigeon on the other side. Flexing the feet. Get a little bit more weight on the right side of your sacrum. Relaxing the shoulders. And if you're holding your legs so tightly that it's causing your shoulders to hunch and tightening your neck, and let go. Right, Durga is this image again of the being locked in battle. If you are battling something, right, is you keep it within arm's reach. is that until you defeat it, you can't get away from it. You can't let it go. You're tied to it. When they say Durga comes and defeats our demons or helps us to defeat our demons, it just means she helps us to release that attachment that we have to the fight, to the conflict, to the limitation. Because let's transform it. Good. Release the thigh, please. Reach for your foot and your knee. So you're keeping that left shin right where it is. Extend your right leg straight down to the floor. So you're in a true supine pigeon. So pigeon pose just on your back. So your right leg comes straight and you're going to lift that left shin up towards your chest. Still angled like it's in pigeon. There you go. You got it, Mark. Good. You can flex the foot. You can rock that knee from side to side. You can circle the leg in the hip socket. Mess around. It's your pose. Suggestion is to keep the foot flexed so the knee doesn't get irritated. Good. And then see the angle that you can find where your foot is flexed and your knee is nice and wide, where you are lifting that shin more towards what would seem like parallel. So your heel is probably going to lift away from your thigh a little bit more. And your knee, top of your thigh, is going to start to move away from your belly. Good. So you play with the angle. And then a deep breath in when you found somewhere that feels steady. Exhale, lift the shoulders up off the floor and bring that shin up towards your chest, any amount. Bring that foot up towards your chest, any amount. Good. Might be a little, might be almost nothing. Awesome. And then slowly release the shoulders back to the floor, please. Nice job. Squeeze the left knee in towards your chest. Straight in. Hold behind the thigh. Extend the left heel up towards the ceiling. Press your thigh against your hands. And then press down through your lower back. So you're pressing from almost that line of energy from your heel straight down into the thigh into the hip socket, root down. Good. Pressing the thigh into the hands, relax your shoulders. Good. Strange box arrives on your doorstep. And inside there is a seemingly random item that represents some spiritual attribute. Something that you've been longing for, but thought, it's too expensive, can't do it. It's too hard, not ready. And it shows up on your doorstep with a little note from Durga that says, learn to use this. What do? You do your best to learn to use it. And this is practice, spiritual practice. Start to come into your straight-legged twist, please, taking the left leg across the body. Good. You can keep a hand behind that thigh or behind the calf or whatever you can hold. And trying to keep that leg as much in line with your hip as you can. Might not be realistic to keep it in line with the hip, but keep the leg split as much as you can. And then reach out through that left side. So you're not just dropping the left hand onto the floor, but you're reaching through the left side shoulder. And then watching if your head is turned to the right or the left. Left is a little bit more intense because it turns the neck, right, with the twist. Looking to the right is going to be a little bit easier on the neck, on the shoulder. Your divine source sends you a little note that says, I want you to learn to use your greatness. What do? You start examining all the excuses that you have for why you already don't use it, or why you fall back on other things. Good. Slowly bring yourself back to center, please. Nice. Bring that left knee back in towards your chest. Pull it wide towards your armpit. Reach for the ankle or the foot. Half happy baby. So your elbow should be inside the knee. So your knee could be nice and wide. Good. And then stacking the heel on top of the knee. Again, watching where you are holding, that if you're holding your foot and it's making your shoulder tense, hold your ankle or behind your thigh instead. And keep that right thigh rooting down to the floor as best you can. Good. And if you are pulling so much on that left side that's making the right side lift, there's nowhere else to go, soften your pull so that your pelvis can settle. And then see where that leg is willing to descend to. Good. Nice, you guys. Squeeze the left knee back in towards your chest. Nice job. Bring the right knee in as well. So both knees come in. Take the knees towards your armpit. So like an inverted child's pose. So just big toes come together, knees go wide, and then press your shins in towards your chest or towards your belly. Relax your head. Good. If you're putting in a lot of effort here, it's too much. If you're putting in almost any effort here, it's too much. Squeeze your shins in. Good. And then bring the knees all the way together, please. If you want a final spinal twist, go ahead and move your hips to the left, drop your knees to the right. Arms wide. If you're happy just going straight into Shavasana or feel like you need something very neutral for your pelvis, you can come into bridge. Come back to center, please. If you're in the twist, scoot your hips to the right, drop your knees to the left. Getting it out of the way before Shavasana. Yay. Good. Come back from your twist, please. Squeezing the knees in. Bring your forehead up to meet your knees. Just hug. Maybe rolling on the spine. A box arrives on your doorstep with a fire alarm. Learn to use it. Good. Start to straighten the legs coming into your Shavasana. So of course, props, blanket underneath the knees can be very soothing for the lower back. Something under your head, a moderately rolled blanket underneath the head or the neck can be very soothing for the shoulders. So be very intelligent about how you set up your Shavasana. And let the feet drop open, let your arms relax, palms facing up. Consciously maybe let go of the jaw, let it unhinge. Let the tongue float to the top of the mouth. Maybe let it settle to the bottom of the mouth and see which one feels more at ease. And breathe very deeply. Contemplate that thought that you are already the greatness of the divine source. Inherent in you is everything that you need to live your life well, successfully, happy, meaningful. So any excuse there is not to use everything that you've been given, everything that you are, just meet it and breathe with it. Very gently bring the awareness back to your breath. Let your body begin to stretch, move in whatever ways serve you well. And as you're ready, draw your knees in towards your chest and roll to your right side. Taking a moment before you begin to push the floor away, come back to an upright seated position. And if there is ever a time, I think, to use the Lotus Mudra, it's during Navaratri time, goddess time. So as you bring your hands together, keep the heels of your hands, pinkies and thumbs connected, but take the middle 3 fingers wide, palms wide. So it's you're making a little flower or a little cup with your hands, and then rest that right at the heart. Yeah. So the image, right, is that the goddess sits on the lotus, and the lotus is the representation of how we move from the confused up into the completely realized, right? From the muck into the complete brilliance of your soul. And the goddess sits on that. She's the energy that is both, but it's also the process, right? It's the action of realization. And then if you want to really grab hold of that, have it be real for you, is that to realize that it's in your hands. There's nothing that needs to be given to you to feel that, as you already have it, but you have to be willing to use it. So all of the spiritual teachings, the gifts, everything that you've been given, your hands are what make it magic. Your hands are what make it real. Your hands are what transform the world, and it's what transforms yourself. It's up to you. So we put our hands in this mudra, open mudra, so that the tools that we've been given, we learn to use them. And if we think we don't have something, with that openness, we request it, and it'll be delivered tomorrow in a box you didn't ask for. You'll say, oh, I guess I better learn to use this. That's Navaratri, 9 nights to learn to use what you've been given. Transform yourself into a purer image, clearer image of your soul. So either keep the hands here or bring the palms together for the sound of Om. Deep breath in. Bringing the palms all the way together, sliding the thumbs up to the space between the eyebrows. Namaste. Thank you guys so much. Have a great rest of your night, a great rest of your week. Happy Navaratri. Again, you've got tonight and tomorrow dedicated to Durga, and then we move to Lakshmi, then to Saraswati. So if you want to follow along, you can follow along.